and welcome to another episode of the High Voltage Live Show. I'm your host, Willie Snyder, coming to you live from the Mile High City in Denver, Colorado, joined by my awesome partner in crime, Mr. King James Stallcup, over there in the home of the #1 Texas Longhorns. Giving old hook 'em horns from the Mile High City tonight. And one thing I wanted to say too is I really appreciate everyone who's joined in. Means a lot, especially the old Mr. E Electrical Wizardry over there in Florida. Yeah, we hope you're doing all right there over in Hurricane Zone. Hopefully everything's going good for you. And then we got to get our song going right away with old Daniel J up in the house.
Daniel J's here. We let him in here again. All right, here you go.
Oh man!
And yeah, you took it on the chin Monday, baby.
Dude. Easy quiz.
But Daniel, I'm gonna tell you something, and you'll appreciate what I'm about to tell you. You did not take it nowhere close to on the chin, as apparently they're clarifying what the definition of an outlet is, and Ryan and all of them, and Jeremy and Jeff and Tim and Tom and just Michael, all of them. There's this song. It's called "The Sound of Silence."
Oh yeah, dude.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
There you go. What's up, John? Welcome in, brother. Appreciate you jumping in. We're gonna have to say a "Go Broncos" from Daniel. But yeah, I did notice.
Cowboys are close, baby.
Yeah, I did notice a bunch of people up in the house, so we might be upstaging the old Bronco game tonight. But I do have to say "Go Broncos." So
go Broncos. Awesome. Broncos my second favorite team. So
there you go.
I always like y'all's colors. I like y'all do that white, all white with the orange and blue. I think it looks freaking sharp, man. I always like when the Cowboys do the white with the royal blue like that too. I think it looks cool.
Yeah, I always like the little dancing horses. That's why I got this one. It's got the little dancing horses.
Yeah, so it's sort of like they're wearing the stormtrooper uniform, and they go all white. I freaking love that. But back to where we are. As I said, hello, darkness, my old friend.
So me and James have been kind of relentlessly posting public inputs and public comments and stuff for the 2026, and it looks like some of our stupid comments that they were laughing at might have just gotten through to Code Making Panel 1. So it's going to be interesting. We can't really speak on what's going to happen, what's going to transpire, but it's going to be interesting. I think there's going to be some stuff, and Daniel knows the whole argument, ACs are not outlets. So
I'll say this. We're not saying anything definitive. I can just tell you what we heard. We were watching Thomas Dimitrovich, or actually Bill watched it, and he called me, he goes, "Dude, are you not even on the groups?" I said, what are you talking about? He goes, "You don't even know what's going on, do you?" I said, okay. I said, well, hold on. I said, I'm doing something right now. I'll call you back here in about 20 minutes. I had something I had to finish. And I was there thinking, what the hell is he talking about? So I called him back, and then he started telling me, and I was like, I got to listen to this. So they did a video, and what I will
that's awesome,
yes,
David.
yes,
thank God you're safe from the hurricane and everything, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, we've been talking
praying
about
for all you
people
guys.
posting saying they were safe and everything. I hate. 2 hurricanes in a row. I don't know, but anyway, they took and they were doing a live video. It looked like they were down in the lobby to me, but Ryan shows up, and it got brought up something about the outlet, and he goes, "Yeah, we're going to have to write an emergency TIA on that." So apparently, Code-Making Panel 1 redefined what an outlet is, and then Ryan also said, now apparently a receptacle is no longer an outlet. It never was. It's a device, like I tried to tell y'all. And I said the receptacle outlet is where the box. And Bill knows I already made it. And Bill will tell you this. I said at least 2 years ago, I said, when we get into this co-making process and all that, when we submit proposals, I said, the one that is going to make the decision on this is going to be co-making panel one. Sure. I stuck by that the whole time, and sure enough, that's what's happening right now. Well, anyway, I submitted for a receptacle outlet and for a lighting outlet, and I said the box is the outlet. That's all I put in there. I don't even care if they accept or not. I just wanted a comment. I wanted them to say the receptacle's the outlet. Well, that didn't happen, apparently. Yep. So then I think based on what I did and all that, they looked at it and were like, oh, man, this brings something up, because I also made another comment in the proposal stage. I did on disconnecting means. They said sometimes the disconnecting means can be an outlet and not be an outlet. And I said, when can it be an outlet? I said, a good example is if I have a switch over here on the wall and I go up and I feed straight into, let's say, some fluorescent fixtures up there. There's no box or anything. I'm just feeding straight into it. Where would the outlet be at that point if there's no box up there? I said, it'd be right there at that switch, because that's a connection. And I've always maintained that. They told me, you're a freaking fool, you're stupid, you're an idiot, Warren. They call me worse than that too. And I said, okay. Well, then when that first happened, then they come in and said that, the co-making panel. And I said, well, actually, they're agreeing with what I've been trying to say. So I was like, hey, now I've got something back that we know what's going on. So now we were able to come in and make the comments on what their opinion was. Well, apparently it shifted to what we thought. And then they turned around. Another guy showed up. Oh, and also in another post that happened, non-generic come in and said, well, it looks like they're just going to delete 625.54, which is what we said would probably happen.
Yeah, so I don't think that would be a bad thing. I don't think it would be a bad thing if they deleted 625.54, because it would take that whole reference completely out of special equipment, because you're basically saying special equipment doesn't apply. Like you're basically saying that Chapter 2 just applies generally to everything all the way across.
It doesn't.
And so I really blew up the set with my public input. I had got featured by Mike Holt last week, and he's actually going down there to try to sort this out. But I actually proposed, I said, well, if you're calling this an outlet, you're calling that an outlet, why aren't you calling this an outlet?
That's
and
right.
So they must have agreed with me and said, yeah, we do need to call that an outlet. Well, if they do call that an outlet, that would mean every single EVSE charger on the planet, whether it's in a dwelling unit or commercial location or anywhere, would have to have Class A protection, and that's just not going to work. Right. Some of these level 3 chargers aren't compatible with Class A devices. And I can guarantee you, if you got a credit card sitting there with somebody's car charging and it starts tripping GFCIs, it's not going to be pretty. And so it changed this whole outlet argument. And now everyone's putting their heads together to try to see what they can figure out to make this all work.
Oh,
to me personally,
they're unhappy.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, this is one other part of this we got to look at also. There was two other things that happened. Okay, 210.8D, where you get into your specific appliances there, where they require GFCI protection. All those items they added in 2023. Guess what? They're about to be deleted. Okay, and like I said, and they told me I was a freaking idiot and all of this. I said, you can't do that. I said, because Article 420 handles the appliances. You can't put that on the appliance manufacturer has the right to that, because it's listed and labeled. They said, you don't even understand how it works and all this, even though I've worked on projects like that. Well,
it's 422.5, co-making panel 17. Well, the chair of co-making panel 17 also sits. He also sits on co-making panel 2. So they have to have this correlation between the two different references,
Sure. And so they came to a compromise, and they're only going to put the items that are listed in 422.5. That's what they said. In other words, they told them, you don't know what y'all are doing, co-making panel 2, trying to put all these GFCI requirements on everything because there was no outlet. Now, this is the best part. Then that guy showed up and happened to get into the conversation with them. They said, come on in here. I loved it. He gave them a history lesson. Or I won't say a history lesson, but a product evaluation lesson on what their product actually did and what they had in the cap there of the cord that did the sensing and everything for the heat and all that. I mean, he blew them up. And then right at the end, he tells them, he goes, I don't agree with y'all on the hardwired. And right then, Ryan goes, well, I got a split. I was like, yeah, you're right. You got a split because, and they didn't call him out or anything. And I'll tell you why, because he knew that product and everything and the way it was designed. And they didn't want anybody hearing that on that podcast or that podcast he was doing.
So from hearing that, do you think people are improperly adding 125% to that freaking equipment?
Hell yeah, they are.
Listing and
Hell
labeling?
yeah, they are. They sure are. And I remember when I stated that a while back and they were saying, I said, you don't know what you're talking about. That equipment is built in with that. You cannot put that on there like that because that's a cord and plug connected piece of equipment. And if you're going to do that, then you need to call it as an individual outlet then. And they told me, you don't know what you're talking about. I said, I've been doing this a long time. I know where you run into the problems and what you're going to see. And I will tell you, everybody, I love this. We got 3 loves, likes, and all that. But everything is happening just as what we told you here on the High Voltage Live podcast from what we're hearing right now. And if it's and they got to go in and they're wanting to do an emergency TIA because they're saying, well, apparently the members of co-making panel 1 don't understand what an outlet is. That's basically what they're saying. And so this gets clarified like we think it's going to get clarified. It's going to, all of a sudden, you're going to see that exception there for the AC unit. Guess what? No. Hey, goodbye. That's basically what's going to happen. You might as well just go ahead and delete it. Matter of fact, you might already just consider deleting all of 210.8F and refix 210.8A and B to include them items because what you tried to do isn't going to hold water now. That's basically what's going to happen.
And it's kind of been like a problem thing. Like I don't, the biggest problem that I have is I'm not saying that there is no hazard on hardwired utilization equipment. What I'm saying is the hazard that they use to base 210.8F to add outlets to all this stuff was based on misuse of equipment, and like that's the thing. Like the National Electric Code is based on normal use of equipment. You can sit there and say, do not exceed this and that. That is not due to abnormal use of equipment. That is still based on normal use of equipment. Like, I have a hard time finding anything that says that the National Electric Code covers abnormal use of equipment. I mean, if you ask me, James, Tommy D was trying to explain how the National Electric Code covers abnormal use of equipment, and I don't think he's right. I don't think he's right at all.
It does not. Abnormal use of equipment and normal operation is covered over an NFPA 70E for when you have to do work on it. Matter of fact, I watched another video he was doing, and now there's a big argument. Guess which term it's looking like they're going to take out of the code now? Y'all might not know this. Maintenance.
Yeah.
Maintenance.
Oh, okay.
They're taking maintenance out. You know why? They're saying servicing, but maintenance is different than servicing. Okay? Maintenance is something you do. Well, where is maintenance covered? Which I've been telling y'all this for a long time, and y'all, I said, pay attention to what I'm telling you. This is exactly why you want to look at getting the stock up publications. We're the only ones that have a 70B publication. That covers maintenance. And we tied in with manufacturer's instructions, things you need to look at. And we've got all these maintenance tables at the back and everything. Well, we got that directly tied in to what else? The 70E. And that's why I call it the tripod effect. You need to know all those standards. What is this?
The heat pump and pools.
I didn't see anything on that. The only thing they have as far as bonding is where they're taking it and they're making sure everything's bonded into the equipotential plane, and that's over in 680.26. Okay.
Right.
And they've done a
Gotcha.
few, when we were doing the code changes, they did a little work there on that. And it was just making sure everything was bonded into the equipotential plane. And if you look at that, they also did a lot of work in that where they also were doing agricultural. You remember we got into that in 547.9. I was going through all those. And then they did some other bonding requirements where they got into the new article. I think it's, I can't 265, is that what it was? 6 something like that, where they were doing the high voltage.
Oh, so, you're saying over 1,000 volts?
Yeah, over 1,000 volts. So they got that new article that was added there. It might be 257. Have I ever mentioned that they need to require ground and neutral conductor AC units for the return current for the internal circuitry of Class 1? So the Class 1. Yeah, we're aware. Yeah. Matter of fact, I think we covered that on one of the podcasts talking about that.
Yeah, and that's the thing, David. Like, I think that's kind of a little bit of a emergency argument once this started getting questioned, because there's only a small percentage of the units that are actually having this problem where they're actually bringing the milliamp voltage to the equipment ground. I believe it's only the Asian units, certain Asian units, that are doing that. A lot of the compatibility issues that we're noticing is based on the freak drives, the variable frequency drives, and this is not just AC units. This is all the way across the board. This is on refrigerators. I've heard of compatibility issues with LED drivers now in refrigerators. There's a lot of LED drivers that I've noticed lately, based on their high efficiency, cause like a inburst spike on there, and that's not gonna be compatible with Class A devices. There's a lot of incompatibility that I've noticed. I was telling James about this. They had on the plans for us to install a Class A device on the and that is a good point, David. They did have an issue. So what David's talking about is in 404, they were actually using the equipment ground as a neutral conductor to, for these control devices like
you can't do that.
Motion. Yeah, so they actually did add a reference in 404 to eliminate those control devices for using the equipment ground. They're still out there. They still sell them. I've actually seen them around there where you actually put a ground screw in there and ground the neutral, and so that'll make it work. But that actually became a code violation. I want to say it was like in 17 possibly, but I know it was one of the codes.
I think that was in 404.2 B1 through 4.
Well, no, I'm saying in the 2017 cycle or the 2014 cycle, one of the two.
Yeah. Well, so, I find all this very interesting.
And thanks a lot for jumping in, Steve. Really awesome.
I want to answer on this. So you're talking about the refrigerator dryers. Now, one of the arguments they would argue on the thing, they go, well, if I have a refrigerator it's within 6 foot, I said, still doesn't need GFCI protection if the manufacturer says no GFCI protection. I don't care where it's located. So now, if I have it within 6 foot, now they've taken all these items out there. I get stove, ovens, whatever that's there. It's right there, access the countertop. All right. Now, they're taking those out, and they're only requiring the items that are listed in 422.5. So all these things that they were telling you 2023, you needed GFCI protection for, guess what? They're no longer going to be there. So basically, what I like to say, common sense is coming back. And the manufacturers of all these pieces of equipment are standing up, and they're taking a stand against the code making panel 2 requiring all this GFCI protection when they didn't even take and do the technical merit that was required to show that there were all these deaths and everything that were caused. They just decided, hey, we can sell GFCIs here, required here, a much more expensive product when they didn't even have any deaths or anything there to show. And that's been one of my things.
And Steve, I actually submitted a public input for the 2026. I'm not sure if it's going to pass or not, but I believe what me and James are kind of indicating is that if you get like this, let's just say you have a refrigerator that says not compatible with the Class A device, you can actually show that to the AHJ and say, listen, this refrigerator is not compatible with the Class A device. This actual listing and labeling is based on the safety. And when you look at refrigerators, they are probably one of the safest appliances out of all the appliances that are out there. Based on the consumer data, they've done a really amazing job with reducing the amount of current that they're drawing. It's not a continuous load. There's a lot of different factors that go in to that, and I'm not expecting my public input to pass, but at the same time I think it would be a good step in the right direction, because like me and James are saying, when you're out there, when you have an inspector out there, is he inspecting off the code book or is he inspecting off that manufacturer instructions? He's inspecting off that manufacturer instructions because that's the listed and labeled equipment. It's not the code book. The code book doesn't govern that.
Yeah, and I'll take it a step further. I don't know if y'all are viewing in from Facebook or the YouTube or LinkedIn.
Yeah, so anytime it has a little red thing next to it, they're over YouTube.
Oh, are they?
Okay. I don't see anybody in from Facebook right now.
Okay,
but we do have a few over there.
Right there on the YouTube site. If you'll look over there and go to Myth of the Week, I've got a playlist there. I actually go in and we cover the listing and labeling and what's required in order to be considered. There's two types they call them. It's either a QTL, which is a qualified testing laboratory. That's the way OSHA looks at them. Or they also recognize it as a NRTL, National Recognized Testing Laboratory. But everything is based in what their requirements are to become one, and the codes and standards, it says national codes and installation standards they have to follow to get that listing and labeling. And It's all laid out there, 1910.7. And we went through all of this, and we still had people arguing, going, the code overrides that. No, it does not override the listing and labeling. And that's why I was saying if that refrigerator's there and they say no GFCI protection, they can say whatever they want. But
so kind of what we're talking about too, Steve, is all these have to mesh. They all have to combine. So that refrigerator would not get that listing if it was a code violation. Steve says, yes, I agree. And I've seen the applications to say don't install GFCI protected receptacle. And the thing is, this is where the battle's coming in with EBSE right now. I knew it was coming. I told James.
Coming. Yeah, we knew.
Like James, I told James, I was like, you go right, I'll go left, And he went his own way, and it was funny because like I kind of had my own unique design to the whole thing, where I was like, if you're saying outlet over here, you need to say outlet over here, and if you're saying outlet over there, you got to say outlet over here. Well, come back and they got 10 different answers on the same thing, so they're gonna have to really figure this out. And with the EBSE, they actually said they deleted there's language in the manufacturer's instructions that says do not install GFCI breaker. And they deleted that, and they were correct to do that because that is not an all the way across the board thing. If you install that as a cord and plug connected, you still need to have GFCI protection on that. The only time when you don't need GFCI protection is when it's hardwired.
Hardwired, just like that guy told them.
Yeah, right in the manufacturer's instructions. So that's the battle right now that they're having at the second draft meeting. Actually, 625 actually went a day longer. Let
me respond to that. So apparently the definition for receptacle and receptacle outlet's been clarified, and the definition of outlet. Code making panel 1's apparently already done. It's already voted on. It's signed, sealed, delivered, and and then they're going to go to the General Assembly, which everybody will vote on. And you can guarantee Ryan and all of them will get up raising hell that they. And trust me, they ain't going to beat co-making panel one on this. Just because you don't agree with them, nobody cares what you think. You have the right to go up there and do, but you had a whole panel that voted for this. And now you're basically saying they're a bunch of idiots and everything because of the way they voted, which they're not. I believe they've actually probably listened to some of our podcasts and everything where we've broken down and gone through step by step, because we have thousands and thousands upon thousands of views of people going in, looking at all these podcasts and everything. And we were the first to go in and say, there's no outlet. And we were crucified for it. They called us every name under the book. We stuck to our guns. And then Bill he made a change to the definition of an individual branch circuit, which I argued with. And they said, no, you can't put outlet there because there'd be one or more outlets. I said, and I saw it. I said, I did it. Then Bill started going, you dog, put that in there. I went in and I commented on his, and I just took the word outlet and then I put an S in parentheses. I said, now it can be an outlet or there can be more than one outlet on there. That should take care of what y'all said. I'm waiting to see how they voted on that.
So I had a really intelligent outlook from where I posted my public input. If you go look at the expanded content in 210.8F, it says this requirement is to cover appliance outlets for where the utilization equipment is connected to. Mm-hmm. And so I said, okay, well, if that's the case, if you're going to say that in expanded content, then you need to change the definition of individual branch circuit, because obviously it's just implied that there's an outlet always there. So what they should say is that an individual branch circuit connects to one outlet that the utilization equipment connects to. Now, they were arguing saying that it could connect to more than one outlet. I don't see how. I don't understand why that's a big deal. Like, to me personally, I think it only does connect to one outlet. I mean, by the way their definition is, I don't see.
We've got a new section also in Article 314, and it says you can't recondition an outlet.
Oh, there you go.
Oh golly, I love this.
Oh man,
this is getting exciting.
Yeah. I think they didn't they talk about getting mad about that too in there?
Oh, they were mad about that because I said, and I put on that. I said, y'all keep saying it's just a point floating in an infinite space wherever it goes to. I said, how do you recondition that point? Oh God, here you go. You don't know what you're doing. I was like, hey, I'm just going off of your interpretation, which makes no sense whatsoever. But
sure.
They come back and they say, well, if you go look at 300.15b, it says right there that termination area can be used in lieu of a box. I said, where does it say outlet box? Then they went to 300.15 up above and was pointing and circled it on me. I said, okay. I said, what's a conductor termination point? They come back and this, right? They go, everything's a conductor termination point. I said, oh, really? Yeah. I said, so everything's a conductor termination point. I said, I guess where I make splices, we need now call those conductor termination points, right? I said, you see how ridiculous y'all are sounding right now?
And a lot of this comes from, for all you new people out there, really appreciate you joining with us, Steve, and John pops in, which is really awesome. I work industrial, and I saw this, like, they actually said, well, we're going to start out trying to put this in for a dwelling unit, then we're going to try to move it to other than dwelling unit, Mm-hmm. And that's where I saw a problem, because it already had problems in dwelling unit. And then they started saying, well, multifamily is now dwelling unit, so now multifamily. And then they said, oh, even when the HVAC equipment's replaced. And I'm like, wait a minute. I was like, this is getting out of control, because you're talking, how are you going to try to get people to actually use the code and actually try to use the code as a viable source when you're sitting there telling, well, all this stuff's outlets now, you got to have Class A protection on it. I mean, I'm all for if, a lot of times in the code, they put a new product out there. Like there was a lot of opposition to surge protection devices on the main for dwelling units, you know. But what happened was the industry came out and they made surge protection devices that were virtually not that much more expensive than just buying a main breaker kit. So they were able to integrate this technology, and now everybody wants it. Like they call me up, hey, what would it cost to do a service change? Oh, okay, this much. What would it cost to do a service change with SPD? It's like $10 more, you know?
Yeah.
That's a good change. That's a positive change because they're getting a better value, they're getting a better product, and it's not that much more. But when you go into this whole GFCI thing, like they're kind of going down the wrong direction, if you ask me, because now they're like, okay, well, now our solution to this is an exception that you could put a special purpose GFCI for incompatible equipment. They actually have an exception that you could put a GFCI in there that doesn't even exist yet.
That's right.
You could put in a high frequency.
That's right, the HF. And they were talking about that. But, you know, we got the HF, and I'm sitting there like, you know, you're promoting something right now that doesn't even exist. I was like, we don't even know if it's ever going to exist.
It might not even work.
Yeah, I was like, you got to go through product testing, evaluation, and all that stuff. I mean, that's going to take a couple of years to do all that. I mean, that doesn't include designing the thing. And I was just sitting there listening to it, and I was like, here we are once again. You're pushing something out there that you don't even have. You don't even have any technical merit to even explain why you need it in the first place. But apparently they're going to fix that because they're going to tell you what an outlet really is, and that's going to take care of it.
Yeah. Dude, that's so funny. We are the original gangsters of the code, man. We are.
Well, let me tell you, it's Bill's fault. I'm going to tell you, it's his fault, and I'm going to explain why it's his fault.
Oh, man. It is.
Now, I really didn't know Bill real well at this time, and he sends me a text. He goes, hey man, he said, "What if you got some time?" He goes, "Could you come on my podcast?" He had this Willie Jackerson experiment, and I said, "Oh sure, I'll come on." And this was, I think, I can't remember exactly when, but
it was 2021. It was September 11th, 2021. You could always go look. If you go Google the Willie Jackerson experiment, it's still on there. Yeah, dude, it's like the number 4th freaking podcast still on there. It's up there. It's ranked.
Well, he had me on, and we had just finished the code change book come out and everything. I can't remember everything. It's been so long. So he asked me about an AC unit, GFCI protection, and I said, "Well, you don't need GFCI protection." And he goes, "Well, the new code," I said, "Well, they came back and I said they put an exception there." I said, "But there's no outlet there."
Yeah, well, I'm saying that they were calling the disconnect an outlet, and because I just watched Ryan Jackson's video and he has the arrow pointing to the disconnect, and I'm like, dude, he's calling it an outdoor outlet, and he was like, hell no, that ain't no outlet.
I said, I literally said, hell no. I said, he didn't know what the hell he's talking about. I said, there's no outlet there. So I think it's done, right? And then he posted it on some of the groups and stuff, and then all of a sudden, I my name starts getting tagged left and right, and I'm going over. All these people are calling me names, telling me my publications suck. You're an embarrassment.
Oh yeah, you're killing babies. Killing babies that are jumping fences.
Just call me everything. I came on and I said, okay. I said, where's the outlet? If they said the disconnecting means, I said, really? I said, well, the definition of disconnecting means says one or more device or one or more devices. And I said, if you go look at a device, I said, are you telling me a circuit breaker can be a device? Then it went quiet for about 2-3 hours, and then they come back and they said, well, it's at the AC unit. And I said, is that rated? I said, where that connection's made, I said, is that rated for a wet location? And they said, what the hell's that got to do with it? And I said, well, if I go outside and I put a box out there, I said, does that box have to be rated for a wet location? They said, well, that's listed and labeled. I said, now you're learning something. I said, it's listed and labeled, therefore the NEC doesn't apply to it.
Right.
So well, they went picking and choosing. Then it got so bad it went to the wiring method itself was outlet, and then they come in and they literally said, Bill knows I have to tell the truth. They said where the wiring method connects to the utilization equipment, that's the outlet. And I said, so you mean the outlet just floats in an infinite space? I said, there's nothing of substance there. It's just a point. It just floats wherever the hell you want it to float. And they said, that's right. They said, go look at the definition of infinite. That's what they told me. I was like, and I told them, I said, y'all love this. I said, I said, after listening to that explanation, I said, I can honestly say I feel dumber. I was like, sure. I've never heard such thing. But anyway. Okay, we're done with this. We've been talking for like an hour.
I know. Yeah, we better get to the meme. I think y'all like the freaking meme this week.
All right, let's roll it. That is
dude.
Freaking true.
I love that. I love that so much because like a lot of people want to go to like higher education and everything, and I remember this like when I was coming out of high school, and they're like, "What college you going to?" And I thought to myself, I was like, I want to go to a college for something I'm gonna do in later in life, And oh no, you don't need to do that. You just need to go learn stuff, And I didn't like that, and so I ended up being a cook at Village Inn, and of course I was jamming my metal, long hair and playing in a band. But I was like, I remember I went. One of my buddies was like, "Yeah, you should come work doing cable," and we were doing underground laterals for houses. And I bumped into the electrician. He's like, "Hey man, you should be an electrician. You'll make a lot of money." And I was like, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "All you gotta do is land these wires, And so then he started showing me how he's landing the service panel. And I started talking to my boss. I was like, I really want to kind of be an electrician. I think I was like 20 or something at the time. And he goes, "Well, you know what?" He goes, "I'll tell you what." He goes, "I'll get a deal from the utility, and we'll give you $8 every meter that you land." He's like, "Because we can land the meter side, And he goes, he ran me through it. He's like, you got to torque it. You got to get it tight. You got to wiggle the wire. You got to put the stuff on there. Whatever it was they wanted from the utility, that's what I did. And he goes, we'll give you $8 a meter. Well, like the first day, I think I did like 6 of them. So like you make $50, extra $50 in a day. Like that was awesome.
Oh yeah. It was, me too. I went through, a lot of people know my story, but I started at 14 working for my grandfather. He's a big contractor here in Fort Worth. And by the time I was 16, I was working half a day going through ICT. Well, by the time I got out of high school, through all the hours I worked and all through summer and everything, they gave me 2 years. So I went through my first 2 years of apprenticeship. I started at 18. When I was 20, I was able to go down and I took my journeyman pass, and at 22, I was a master because I had to go 2 more years. Well, right after I got that master's, everything I turned out and everything, my plan was to go to the University of Texas and get my engineering degree, but I had applied for this job for the city of Grapevine as electrical inspector, chief electrical inspector. And we had to go in there and take a test and everything, and they gave us like 100 questions, and I aced it. And like the next closest to me was like a 72, 68, something like that. So they called me and 2 other guys in. These guys are in, their 40s and 50s. And so we come in individually, and they gave us a test to do all these hard calculations and stuff. Well, guess what? I aced it too. Well, the building director and the director of community development and the building official, they actually knew who my dad was. Well, I didn't know they knew Dad at that time, because Dad was the chief electrical inspector of Fort Worth. They'd been going to his classes and everything. Well, my score was so much higher than everybody else's, they called my dad, and Greg Wheeler was the building official. He actually was the building official there in, I think, Aurora, Colorado. He moved to there. I think he was in Aurora, if I'm not mistaken. But he...
that was back when Aurora was good. No.
Oh, okay. Well, he called me. He called me.
John lives in Aurora. I got to watch out.
Okay. Well, he may. I think that's where he was. I'm not 100% sure, but I know he went to Colorado. But he called my dad and he said, "Hey, James," he said, "you want to be the chief electrical inspector here in Grapevine?" And my dad's like, "What the hell are you talking about, Greg?" And he just started laughing. He goes, "Yeah, your son applied." And he goes, "He did." And he goes, "Well, why are you calling me?" He said, "Well," he said, "he aced everything we gave him." And he said, "We're actually considering hiring him." And he goes, "Well, he's just about to turn 23." And he goes, "Yeah, but what we would like to do, if we hire him, we would like him to spend 2 weeks," which I went out with Pee Wee Houston. And he said, "We want y'all to train him in Fort Worth for 2-3 weeks. As a matter of fact, we leave him there a month. And y'all just train him and train him on big, residential, commercial, industrial, what y'all do." He said, "Then bring him back here." And he goes, "I think he can do it." And Dad said, "Well," he goes, if he applied for it, said he can do it, And so Dad called me. He goes, "Hey," he goes, "why don't you come over and eat tonight?" I said, "All right." So I'm sitting there. He goes, "Hey, boy," he goes, "you ever thought about becoming an inspector?" And I just sort of like, why the hell is he asking me that? I said, "Well, maybe one day." I said, "I'm thinking of going to Texas. I got my money and all that." And he goes, "Boy, don't you know there's nothing you can't do here in the state of Texas I won't find out about?" I was like, "What the hell are you talking about?" He goes, "I know you applied for that job." And I said, "They call you?" And he goes, "Yeah, they called me." I said, "What'd they say?" And he goes, "Oh, they asked me if I thought you could do the job." I said, "What'd you say?" He said, "They'll see you Monday morning." He said, "Then you're going to come over and ride with our guys for about a month and learn everything and the way we set up our reports and all that. And you're going to become the new chief." I said, "Nah." And the guys that were coming out at that time, engineers making about 45,000. They started me at 65,000. I was like, "Screw that shit. I ain't going to college." I was like, "I'm making good here." So that's how mine got started. So this quick story.
Well, to make a long story short, I want to thank everyone who participated in the Myth of the Week this week. Nat King Code, I just hit 2,000 followers on Facebook. Thanks so much. I appreciate everyone. That's so awesome. It's been a long time coming. I've been doing this for 5 years, if you ask Weed Man. But I think I started in 2019, around this same time. So I'm right about my 5-year anniversary. So thanks so much, everyone. Appreciate it. Big shout out to all you out there following me and checking out my sweet content and going through my hundreds of questions that's on my page to study for your exam. And that's the whole reason I built it. So.
All right. Well, let's roll that myth then, brother.
Let's roll it.
It's time for Myth of the Week.
All right. Well, I have an awesome myth for you this week. I was working out at a large scale solar, and one of the gentlemen, really quality tech out there, is installing the grounding transformer, and he has this theory that he wants both sides of this supported. It's kind of hard to see. I kind of messed up on the picture a little bit, but we have PVC that's extending out and is actually supported to the transformer pad. and then it comes out with like a little 2-foot section of seal tight, and then it's supported again with a piece of unistrut on the transformer. And I was like, why'd you do that? And he's like, well, he goes, it's because you have what's vibrating, you want that to be supported, And I was like, I don't know if you really want that, but
You don't.
he wanted it, and I was like, well, do you think that's legal? He's like, probably not. He's like, it's probably a code violation, and I was like, okay. But, we went ahead and did it, and I did a really good job installing that support in there, tapped and threaded it, torqued it, used all torque marks, got everything tight, did everything in a workmanlike manner, and so that's kind of what we're trying to accomplish there. And, it's really awesome that we have people like John jumping in, and it's really hard when you have a lot of these different things. To me personally, I would not do this just based on the fact that support is not required in this case. That seal tight's less than 2 foot. That reference is 350.30 exception 2. That says seal tight that's less than 3 foot in that trade size diameter. There's actually a table on it. If you go from I think it's 1/2 inch all the way to 1.5 inches or 1.25 inches, anything 3 foot or less does not require support, so there wouldn't even need to be a support on this. To me personally, I actually think that the flexibility is necessary, and I feel that putting that support in there limits that flexibility. It might be a good thing, but a lot of times it's not just a cut and dry thing oh, well, the NEC doesn't govern this. The NEC cannot give you permission for this. This goes off the manufacturer instructions. Me and James harped on this over and over and over again. You have to go off the manufacturer instructions. They could actually give you some kind of a thing saying if you mount a piece of strut to this, that if anything happens to the integrity of this transformer, that they're not going to cover it under warranty.
That's right.
So you have to really watch some of that stuff. You just think of if this was a transformer full of oil, you don't want to be tapping holes in there.
You don't.
So it's kind of one of those things. It's kind of a touch and go. Honestly, in that actual installation, I don't really see it being a blatant code violation, but I didn't read the manufacturer instructions on that piece of equipment, and if it tells you do not put supports on this enclosure, then you can't put supports on the enclosure. It doesn't matter about whatever the National Electric Code says.
Well, and I want to read the second part of this, okay? And listen to what it says. It is the intent.
Oh, yeah. I think they do say loosen the nuts on those, on the transformer, the shipping bolts. Yes, fully aware of that, Steve. Good call.
And look at this, it says, it is the intent of this code that factory installed internal wiring or the construction equipment need not be inspected at the time of installation of the equipment, except to detect what? Alterations or damage if the equipment has been listed by a qualified testing laboratory that is recognized having the facilities described in the preceding paragraph and that requires suitability for installations in accordance with this code. And that goes back to what I'm telling you. You're altering that equipment. That there was nothing in the manufacturer's instructions that gave you the permission to take and put that in there and add that support that way. And this is where you get into the examination of your equipment. And the thing I like about this, because this takes you back and it tells you, go and look at the definitions in Article 100 for listed and reconditioned. And what is a listed piece of equipment? Okay. And then it ties it in with what? 110.3. So you got different things that you're going to be looking at. You look at 110.3A, and that's if you're, they use that to an extent how to go in and help design the equipment. And then you go look at 110.3B, and that's where you get into your listing and labeling and everything. And when you tie that in with the definitions of identified, listed, and labeled, Then it ties it into 110.2 and it says equipment must be what? Approved. Then you go look at the definition of approved and it says it's acceptable to authority having jurisdiction.
Yeah, and so one thing I want to bring up about this that I think is really opened my eyes, just kind of with King James, kind of giving me these lessons. Like I didn't feel like I knew it all when I first started doing this. I always try to like learn, and like King James is like you got to look at all these different supporting documents. You can't just look at the code and go, oh, what did they say this week? It was like, I'm trying to think of what reference they quoted. But 311. So they're like, oh, 311 doesn't say you can't. But the whole thing is, 311 doesn't give you permission from the manufacturer. You have to go to 110.3b. So you can't just take one reference and say, oh, yep, there's the code says you can. It's like, because then the inspector says, all right, where in 311 does it give you permission to mount to that transformer, and you're not going to be able to find it, you know? Mm-hmm. And sure. Daniel makes a good point, you know. Inspector made him take 3/8 caddy clips off MC lighting whips because the manufacturer didn't specify. Yeah, and dude, yeah, they're unsupported whip. We've argued that before. Like, what's the point of putting those on there, you know? And it's crazy, you know.
Well, it's like and we're here in a second. We're going to get in, and I'm just going to do like a correlation with everything. But one of the things I definitely want to point out when we get over to it is when I start talking about different things that happen in the code, and you go look at any of our training programs, you go look at any of our publications or anything. You ever notice in ours, we spend a lot of time going in showing you how to look at all the different codes and standards that you need to deal with. And, even in our code change publication, we have a little table up there and we give you references depending on what you're looking at. And, we'll have UL standards, we'll have NFPA 70E, NFPA 70B. And if we're dealing with hazardous locations, then we will have OSHA in there, but we also deal with NFPA 496, 497, and 499, and also your API 500 and 505. And
I want to handle this real quick, James. So Steve says that he would caution on the point that he presently has a piece of kitchen equipment with busing breakers facing down with no fault current, unfused conductors, and listing as a motorized appliance. So the thing is that you're gonna have to check out there, Steve, is for one, what we've been running into lately is some of this equipment has fake UL stickers on it, and that's what we've been noticing lately. And so they're doing things that are not code compliant. So to me personally, when I start seeing things like that, I would start questioning that listing to see if they actually comply with the National Election Code or what year it's from, because that's been an argument with a lot of the CMP2 guys, is that they're saying regardless of vintage. And it seems like this vintage has been a problem. But if you go look with the EBSE guy, I was impressed. I was blown away. They said all the safety features are even copied on the cheaper models, even with fake listings, And so, yeah, that's a good one. You're waiting on an ETL response. So kind of like what I say, there could be something that they have an allowance. Like if they're anticipating that branch circuit to already have some kind of protection, then you might be all right, because if you have that appliance correctly grounded and stuff, then the overcurrent device can open. So it's interesting that we're kind of opening up this can of worms, but I didn't mean to interrupt you, James. Go ahead.
Well, one of the things that was interesting about that, what he said that I really liked more than anything, was he actually said even what they found on the UL that the labels were just being put on there. They said they still didn't find any deaths, and they checked worldwide on it.
Oh, and Steve said it's a 400 amp feeder. Yeah, that's a big one.
But anyway, so I think that clarifies and takes care of our myth of the week.
Yeah, so I wanted to run this because the code alone does not give you permission to support off the enclosure. I'm sure that's fine. I'm sure you could do it, but you just got to make sure that you're following the list of label instructions. I've actually seen on water heaters where they say do not drill screws into this, enclosure, whatever, and that's for obvious reasons. There's times I've seen before. Daniel might not remember it, but I was working for a company. We had to relocate a bunch of lightning arresters that was on a roof, and we had to change out all the AC units. And one of my apprentices was like screwing into the AC unit, screwed right through one of the coils,
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. That's kind of where it comes up, where I'm like, hey, they're not really giving you permission to just do that. Now, if you're able to do it without damaging the equipment, I don't see why it's a problem. But at the same time, you have to have that, intelligence to say that, hey, if I tap right here, I'm not going to screw it into any coils. I'm not going to screw it in any water tanks or anything like that. So that's where it comes down to. The code is not just a be-all, end-all for all equipment. And that's why me and King James have been trying to drive it through everyone's head that you have to go off 110.3b, the listing and labeling of the equipment, and it's not just always a be-all, end-all. So,
that's right.
Myth busted.
Busted. All right, well, let's roll into the topic of the week.
Let's go. Okay, where are we at now? We're getting
this
in
is,
there.
This is going to be the last one, and
Okay.
I'm about to explain why. I didn't even create a presentation for this. I'm just going to pull up the terror view so everybody can see. I'm not even going to go in depth because I'm not even sure everything that's happened yet. But I'm telling you, we're going to get in and look at 722, and this all triculates even into Article 800. Everything you're about to see, a lot of stuff's been deleted and added. Okay.
Well, yeah, I saw that there was a lot of changes in like 705.
Oh yeah.
This stuff we probably covered in 705 is probably changed for the second draft.
Well, like I'm gonna say, you'll see where they get into optical fiber, network power, broadband, all this stuff, and basically they're putting all of it in one part. And they've deleted a lot of the cabling and all of this, and it's moved into 722. But I'm going to show everybody. I'm going to share a screen here so everybody can see just exactly what has happened here.
All right.
And there was so much I didn't even go through it all. So what you're going to see. I
still like that lighting. That's pretty good dope.
Yeah, I like it too. Now, what you're going to see is, I want you to look at the title. This is going to deal with your limited energy cables for power limited circuits, your fault managed power circuits, optical fiber circuits, and look here, communication circuits. Communication circuits have remained where? In Chapter 8. That's where your communication systems are. So what they did, this is where you're going to get in. You're going to deal with your Class 2, Class 3, and Class 4 circuits. That's going to be your limited energy cables there. You're also going to have your fire alarm cables. You'll have your optical fiber cables, coaxial cables. All of that is going to be right here. And as you look at the scope, you'll see where you get into communication stuff, it refers you to Article 800. You see that? You
Right.
got articles 800, 810, 20, 30, and 40. And then if you go down to your other articles there, then you start looking at the different articles they're telling you to go look at. So if I'm looking at class 2 and 3 cables, I'm in article 725 and 722. And then your class 4, you're in article 726 and here also in 722. And then fire alarm still 760. Your optical fiber cables are in 770. Well, let's go take a look at 770 and see what they did. So you come in here and look at all this. Look at all the strike throughs.
Wow.
I'm rolling through it. Strike, 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 strike. This is getting into all your cables here. That's where we're going to come back here to 722. I'm going to tell everybody, and we brought this up on one of the other ones. We're going to go back and we're going to show you where the old section was and what it was and everything. We're probably going to have to take this particular one right here because this rolls down quite a bit. See, there's your table that you're going to deal with your different wiring methods and everything here, and your applications and everything where you're doing them in risers, plenum. You have fireproof shafts and things like that where you're in risers, you're in 1 and 2 family dwellings. It's going to have all of this here. So you can
and I almost think it would be cool if we just start the topic over right after the second draft and just kind of go over like what changed.
It's going to take us a while when we get to this one. I can tell you because, just look, I'm just scrolling. Everything's moved up like right here. This is a good example right here. This is our communication circuits here. So they've got them all broke down, but they're all in this article now. So we'll probably do this table here. We've got illustrations we've done on this before. We're going to upgrade them, of course, and we'll put the old section there so you'll know where it comes from. Okay. Now, when you come down, you'll see right here, they took the old 722. It's been deleted. Okay. It's no longer there. It's this, what we were just looking at. It's a new one. Then you had your class 1, look. Deletion. So they're keeping the main stuff there, but I'm dealing with wiring methods. Look, it's all deleted. Okay. Then when you drop down and you get into your class 2, look here, all the wiring methods and other articles, where'd it go? It's deleted. So that's all moved to 722 from what I can tell. Now, the other one that I will point out here is Article 750. This is going to be a new article that's going to deal with the grounding, bonding, and overvoltage protection for these limited energy systems.
Wow, there's a lot of new stuff in there.
Well, it's the same stuff. It's just
basically moved, right?
Yeah, it's moved. So this is going to be a new article that we're going to be dealing with here. And then when you look at the rest of these are just all your basics. The one that I will point out is this one here where I'm dealing with 794 because this one here is they're doing a little bit of work. It's still the same, but what they did is
what is the title? What is the title of 794?
Limited energy cables for power limited circuits. And and the thing that I'm looking at here, because I'm wondering at this point, I was trying to look at this the other day or yesterday when I was going through all of this, because I wasn't sure what the need for this one exactly was here.
Okay, gotcha.
Because
limited energy, that's...
Because if you look at 794, it has the same it's the same heading as if I'm looking at Article 722.
Gotcha.
And that's why I'm not 100% sure what has happened here yet. So, but anyway, that is all I'm going to be covering on this. because there's too much here to actually go through every little thing that took place. But at least everybody knows now, and there's no like any new changes. It's just everything's moved.
Just
So
moved it, yeah.
we're gonna have. I'm gonna have to spend a lot of time figuring out where everything moved once this second draft comes in, and then I'm going to go through and select certain important parts that are in there and do illustrations for them and everything, and then we'll put a comparison, like little code loop, I guess you could say, that'll show the new section based on the 2026, and then we'll have the old section for the 2023.
What, like the definition of outlet that hasn't changed since the 40s?
Yeah. And we'll have that in there too.
There you go. I like it. All right, let's roll the tool.
All right.
It's time for Tool Review of the Week. Sponsored by Electricians Only Tool Review and Nipex Tradesman.
All right, thanks everyone for joining the tour review every week. We always have a lot of fun doing this. This is a really cool thing. I just ran across this. Is my battery was dead the other day, and somebody popped out with this bad boy, and man, it cranked me right up. 80 amps on demand. Like I say, just having the engine start in there is really awesome. It does charge batteries, but I was really impressed. This is probably one of the newer tools that DeWalt's come out with that just really impressed me. Like I say, we had a couple times where our forklift, like the battery was dead, and I think they might have just accidentally left like one of the lights on or something. And I was watching this thing go, and I was really impressed. So I was like, man, I got to do a tool review on this thing, because it started my car right up, and it started the forklift right up, no problem. And this guy, he was real proud of it, and like I say, he was charging up batteries with it, and he didn't need to charge a forklift battery because it charged up on its own. And my car, I don't know, maybe I just like left the stereo on or something, but it was dead, and man, that thing just fired right up. So this is one of those tools that I say, if you're somebody that deals with dead batteries from time to time, this is the best thing you can get is the DeWalt automotive bench. You know, it's more you're gonna have on an automotive bench, but man, like I say, for the price and for what it does, 80 amp engine start, can't go wrong. Not gonna call you a DeWalt fanboy if you get this bad boy.
All right. I hadn't seen that one. That's a pretty cool looking product to me.
Yeah,
I like that.
it just came out, but like I say, that guy, he was real proud of it, and he's there was like an auto shop right by where we're working and stuff. So,
all right. Well, let's see.
Welcome in, Sexy Jerry. What's up, Sexy Jerry? Awesome.
Hello,
Thanks
Diddy.
for joining us, bro.
You know, I was watching a comedian the other day talking about Puff Daddy. He goes, yeah, they're going to have a thing come out that says, did he do it? Did he do it? I was like,
Dude, I'm telling you, we already broke the rumors, man. He's already signed up for the Eagles tush push program. So, you know, so I guarantee they're gonna get a first down every time with the new tush push program. But we'll see.
Y'all learned so much coming to this podcast.
Yeah.
All right, you got a question for me this week? Let's see what the hell you got for me.
There you go.
All right. Generally, in a movie theater, the manual switch for controlling the emergency light sales permit be located. Oh, yeah. I'm trying to remember the exact section on this, but you can have it in an accessible location. It's supposed to be accessible, and I don't see anything else in there accessible. I didn't know it could be the lobby exactly, but I guess that would be it. So I'll go with B. It's got to be an accessible location. I know that.
James, man, I don't know, man. You just spend too much time with those code changes because you're correct. You got it right. But yeah, sexy Jerry, we are a little worried over here, Avalanche country. We haven't got a win yet. It's been
Y'all haven't even got a win yet.
Yeah, we're in there with the San Jose Sharks, and the Sharks even got a tie, so it's a little rough. They might have a little bit better goaltending than us. And what's up, Metro? Hi, welcome in, Metro. Awesome. Thanks for joining, brother. Yeah, Steve nails it. Steve, you copied Steve's answer again?
I always
Dude,
copy. Always
like,
copy.
This is the first time Steve's in here, and then you got to peek at his answer and steal it, man. I can't believe
it. Man. I can't let it happen.
All right, but it is basically our goalie, man. It's rough. Georgiev's given up the most goals out of any goalie in the whole NHL right now, so
how's
pretty
the
rough.
Stars doing?
They're all right. They're not bad. I think they won a couple, but like I said, I don't really keep track of.
They won all their games. They're 4-0. Go ahead, you can say it. They're the best team in the West.
Timo SOS is here. What's up, brother? Come
on
in, man.
I'm in.
Bring your ass on in here.
Yeah.
You're here talking crap to me. Oh, your ass is mine tonight. I took Daniel down Monday, man. I got 5 for 5, man. I was on fire.
Dude, I tell you what, this quiz is gonna be so easy. It's just about colors.
I'm probably gonna screw it up.
Yeah, it's real easy. It's so easy. It's the easiest one we've done. But right on, sexy Jerry. Thanks for joining in. Appreciate it. And yeah, the Red Wings, they should be all right too. We'll see. I expect the Red Wings to start getting up there in the playoffs. We'll see.
I think they're gonna make the playoffs this year. I predicted it. They were so close last year, and they were just literally a game away from making the playoffs. So I think this year they're gonna get it.
Hey Adam, how are the Stars doing?
Good question. I think I'm pretty sure they're doing good. Let me verify.
Yeah, I think they got a couple wins in there. I don't know.
The Stars they're undefeated. I think you know the. I think you knew the answer. You knew that. You knew that already.
They're like the Longhorns, man.
You knew that already.
They're like the opposite of the Dallas Cowboys.
Did y'all see the thing? Oh, Jerry, he got mad the other day. He was on the Fan 105.3 here, and they actually have a contract with, and they were asked. He got all pissed off, and he goes, "If I'm out in the national media or fans something," he goes, "I expect these questions, but not from y'all." I was like, man, he was upset. I was like. And I had never seen him do that before. I think he's pissed off the way they're playing.
Yeah, I would be too. Yeah.
Yeah,
honestly.
They're embarrassing. I mean, the only thing we got going for us is those fine-looking cheerleaders out there.
That's why I watch football, honestly. Even the CFL, it's the cheerleaders.
Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. Never go wrong with them.
So the Cowboys, could they still make the playoffs, or they pretty much missed it?
They could.
Oh no, they can still make it. Yeah.
NFC East is a weak division.
Hey, that's not funny.
What? They're not as strong as the AFC West.
Usually the NFC East is one of the strongest, man, and they're the best looking team there, in my opinion, is Washington. But
Commanders.
All right. You ready to do your Willie Quiz?
Daniel has to get a little. Daniel says,
God.
I'm further ahead.
You just didn't say that. Wait, okay, I'm going to give you that one. I'm going to give you the jaws for that one.
Daniel.
You know what the Cowboys
those are fighting words, Daniel. Come on.
You know what the Cowboys said? I think we're going to need a bigger football.
Oh, man.
Ouch.
See, it's my team. I still make fun of them, so I'm going to.
There you go.
Gotta make fun of it.
All right. Well, let's get fired up with the Willie Quiz. Feel free to join in the chat and answer and try to beat King James as everyone else is trying to tonight because King James just got salty tonight. So let's go with the Willie Quiz.
Hey, good luck, everybody.
No, the funny part is King James is going to put together the King James quiz, and he's going to flip the script, and he's going to put us all in the hot seat. So it's coming. It's coming, Daniel. I'm going to be saying it's rigged.
It's rigged, sport.
I'm just like Jim Carrey there. You must work out.
Yeah.
You're in good shape, man. All right, let's get the Willie Quiz. We're screwing around too much now. Let me move this over. We can get it full screen for everybody. All right, here we go.
Question number 1. Which color is commonly associated with mourning in many Asian countries, particularly China and India? Is it A, black? Is it B, white? Is it C, red? Is it D, blue? Or is it E, violet? Good luck, everyone.
Well, this is interesting because I've actually been over to Japan. I've been to China. I've actually gone through those places when we went to Saudi Arabia. And I actually spent some time there visiting all the different places and all that. And I've also been to Lagos over in Africa and all these places. I'd come in there, fly over here back and forth just to go see places. And actually, if I remember this right, in the Western area, mourning is in black, but over in the Asian countries, white is mourning. And if I'm not mistaken, I think in the Asian countries and India and all that, for prospering and vitality and good health and luck and all that stuff, I think they use the color red, if I'm not mistaken. So
right.
I'm gonna go
Daniel's going
B.
Daniel's going violet right
I'm
away.
going B. I think if I'm not mistaken, white is their mourning over there. I know here in the Western it's black, but 100% sure on that. But
Looks
I think
like you're copying Steve's B answer. Yeah,
I'm going to copy Steve as well. I'm going to say white.
All right. Well, I don't see any other answers in the chat, but the answer is B. It is white is most commonly represented with mourning in China and India. So,
damn,
way to go!
Man.
And Daniel just got stuffed on my little violet answer that I threw in there. All right. Question number 2. Which of the following countries features a green background on its national flag? Is it A, Italy? Is it B, Mexico? Is it C, Saudi Arabia? Is it D, Ireland? Or is it E, Greenland? Good luck, everyone.
Oh, I hit the wrong one there.
Wrong one.
I'm coming for you. Well, my first thought I went to was I was going to say Brazil because I've been over there and I know theirs is green because of the Amazon forest. But I've also been to Saudi Arabia and I know theirs is solid green and they got like a little sword that goes through it. So I'm gonna go with C, Saudi Arabia. I know for a fact their flag looks like that.
It should be two answers, I think, or no, sorry, three answers. Mexico, Saudi Arabia, and Ireland should all have green in their flags, I'm pretty sure.
Well,
no,
they
it's the
do, but it's not the
background.
background.
Oh, the background,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So Daniel goes C. Oh, we got Cesar Blanco's in the house. What's up,
Hey,
Cesar
Cesar.
Blanco? All right, so King James is copying everybody's sweet answers tonight. And he is correct. It is C, Saudi Arabia. So everyone copies, the best answer in the house, which is Daniel J. The correct answer is C. Everyone copies. So good job, Daniel. All right. So question number 3: which color represents good fortune and is often worn with this during celebrations in Chinese culture? Is it A, yellow? Is it B, blue? Is it C, green? Is it D, red? Or is it E, violet? Good luck, everyone.
Yeah, my travels answered this earlier. D.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it was red.
Oh, Cesar Blanco comes out A.
Should have went with D.
They do. You could think of like Big Bird. Maybe they like Big Bird. You know? Cameron's going D. Oh man, you guys, man, I don't know what to do, but King James copies Cameron with the D answer, and red is correct. So, way to copy our new guest that just came in, King James.
Nice.
Oh God. Well,
All right.
Copying everybody.
Yeah. So, which country's flag has the most colors, 6 in total, without counting shades of the same color? Is it A, Brazil? Is it B, South Africa? Is it C, India? Is it D, Australia? Or is it E, New Zealand? Good luck, everyone. All right, so far King James has the most correct answers, and he could take the lead.
I'm still counting on this one. I'm trying to think. Let's see. You got black. You got white. You got green. You got red. You got blue. So
I think it should be South Africa, no?
4, 5, and then I think they got the yellow that's right in there. That's
just letting you know too, Cesar. I did give you the answer D on that one. I was just kidding with A.
I can't remember. I think there's a yellow, and I was trying. I'm thinking South Africa because I'm looking. They come in. They got the black. They got the yellow right there, and then they go white. Then it goes across. You got blue, red, and green right there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and none of those are any type of shade. Yeah, I'm gonna go with South Africa. I think it's South Africa. I'm not 100% sure if I think they got yellow in it, but I'm not 100% sure. I know the black, blue, red, green, black, and white are in there, but I think there's a yellow in there where the triangle is. So I'm gonna go South Africa.
All right, well, looks like you're gonna try and copy Cesar Blanco with South Africa, and you guys are all correct. Everyone who said B was correct. So we have King James with a 4-0 so far, and
Hell yeah.
we'll,
You know
we'll
it, baby.
see. That was a tough one. All right, which country is the color purple historically associated with royalty, but its flag does not feature purple in its color? Is it A, Japan? Is it B, Egypt? Is it C, United Kingdom? Is it D, Spain? Or is it E, Uganda? Good luck, everyone.
Oh. Well, this is
Alright,
interesting.
so
I'm not 100% sure.
This could be the tiebreaker here that just wins it all for Daniel.
So, I know in the United Kingdom, purple was historically associated with royalty, but I'm not 100% sure if their flag had purple in it.
Ooh, Daniel. Oh, Daniel goes with Spain. Oy, ay, 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 ay.
My answer's going to be Egypt.
Everybody's going a different direction than what I was thinking.
Egypt.
I'm going to go for Egypt, yeah.
We might.
Looks like I'm gonna go with a tie tonight with somebody. Because I think historically purple is associated with royalty in the United Kingdom.
Cesar Blanco's going D, Spain too.
God dang.
You guys must have already Googled it or something. Ooh.
They must have. I just think historically purple was associated with the United Kingdom. That's where the royalty and everything really established. I'm gonna go with C. I'm probably wrong, but I'm going off the first portion of the question.
All right. Well, looks like Steve's gonna copy you for once, and then so it looks like we have all the answers in. Where did you go, Adam?
Egypt, B.
Oh, Egypt. Okay, so we got Egypt. All right. So the drum roll is the answer is C, United Kingdom.
Yes.
And King James remains triumphant at 5-0 for the night and crushes. I'll actually give Steve the tie with you, So actually Steve wins. So
are my bitches.
Rock, paper, scissors.
We have a rule, Steve, that whoever is the guest that gets the tie, then they actually win. So
nice.
New rule. King James just made it up.
10 for 10 this week. Yes, baby.
Yeah, you did. And like I say, I gotta work on just tricking them up a little bit more. But my whole
you actually
thing
had me there on that last one. The other ones I was pretty sure about because I've been fortunate. I've traveled all over the country and the world, and seen stuff. And, I'll go someplace, stay an extra 4 or 5 days. I actually am one of those that get out and go see the sites and learn about, wherever I'm at and everything. And,
John got the last one too. So.
But, but then again, he'll ask me some question I have a Hartford Whalers or some shit like that. He'll ask me.
Oh, dude, we got to do more awesome hockey teams. We'll have to.
Hockey, I don't do too good.
We'll have to do the freaking Golden Seals history next time.
Nice.
Yeah, I told you, got to keep it on college football for you. I'm a monster on that.
Dude, guaranteed next week, Monday Morning Coach is going to be on NFL, 100% NFL.
I'm not too bad on NFL. I'm really good on college football, though.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
all right, got one more
But-
thing. We got your wall of shame.
Shame.
Let's check it out.
I love this. Shame.
Shame. Shame. Shame. Shame. Shame. Shame. Shame. Shame.
So, believe it or not, that actually was a real thing from the Game of Thrones, and you had to walk like the walk of shame, and all the people would like spit on you and throw trash at you, and just
Oh yeah.
you'd have to strip down naked and everything. Oh, dude, it says it's hard to read, but it says do not hump. Yeah.
What the hell? Why would you?
I don't even
humping
know
that?
what the heck. But yeah, I appreciate David submitting that to the Wall of Shame. But yeah, and it has ABB on there, so it has to be like a factory applied label. But I don't understand what happened in the past where they had to put that warning label in there, and
Do
I
not
saw
hump.
that. Yeah.
What
I don't
the
know.
hell?
I don't know what.
I've never
like,
seen a sticker like that.
I mean, maybe it's in like UK or in some other country, and that means like maybe like put something on top of it. I don't know.
Do not hump.
Yeah, I was.
Did they
that
put
was
the
definitely
sticker on there for Diddy?
maybe could have been. Never know. I
Oh,
mean,
that's funny.
I heard he's in a lot of trouble. So we'll see. Like
From what I've heard,
might
he's in major trouble.
Yeah, I mean, to me personally, I guarantee you're not gonna find no 1,000 bottles of baby oil in my house. Like, like I'll lucky if I keep one bottle around. Like let alone
I don't even
1,000,
have one that I'm aware of.
Yeah, so that's gonna
The only
be
time we
interesting.
had some baby oils when the kids were little, or first
Yeah.
born, Other than
True.
that, never kept baby oil in the house.
I agree. Yeah, dude, we had a lot of fun. Thanks for joining, John. Thanks for joining, Daniel. Like I say, Steve, our newest Willie Quiz champion tonight. Tie goes to the runner. So, John, that's so awesome, And, like I say,
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the watch. Yeah,
there you
like
go.
the Watchmen. They did that.
Oh, yeah, I
Show
know
the
what you're talking about.
Watchmen.
There you go.
I like watching movies, so the worst thing I ever did was introduce some dad to Netflix. He's going down on Netflix.
Yeah.
He goes, have you noticed how many freaking shows are on there? I said, yeah, that's what I was telling you. And then I told him, I said, you need to watch, like I told him, I said, you need to watch this, The Queen's Gambit. I said, this is a really good. And he goes, well, that's a series. I said, Dad, I said, just watch it. It's called binge watching. I said, go get you some food and sit there and binge on eating some food and stuff and watch it. Then after he watched it the whole day through, and he goes, that was really freaking good. I said, yeah, I told you. I said, there's a lot of others on there. I said, watch the 100. I said, that's a freaking, that's a classic. I said, but it's going to take you a few months to go through all that. I said, I watched that whole thing. And
Yeah.
so I think he's about to start that one.
Squid Games is good too.
Yep. Squid Game, watch that. The one that my niece turned me on was Game of Thrones, which
Yeah.
was HBO. And now I just watched the season through Prime. I have The Rings of Power. That's pretty good too. So they're about, I guess I got the next season coming soon. I won't watch the end of it. So anyway,
Awesome.
but you know what's really good to watch?
What's
This
that?
Saturday at 6:30, the Texas Longhorns playing Georgia Bulldogs.
Let's go, baby.
I'm
Hook
ready.
'em horns, hook 'em.
Actually, I'm going over to my friend Travis. I think they're going to do some his his wife is oh god, my mind blank. They just are, and they do their ribs a little bit different, and they just basically just salt and pepper, I think, and they cook those ribs and they're different cut rib, and
Nice.
I think we're gonna have that and some other stuff while we're watching the game. And I told him, I said, when I come, I'm not shooting any bull. I ain't doing anything. I'm watching the game. I'm doing you right. Yeah, he goes, I know you are. So, and he's a home state fan. So they're having a bad year this year. So
Yeah.
I told him, we actually tried to get him to go to the game. We went to Louisiana Monroe, the night game. He goes, I ain't going to that. Come on, man, just go ahead. I ain't going to the next game. I said, okay.
Right. Right on, brother. Well, I really appreciate everyone joining tonight. It's been a big blast. Stay tuned for what happens with the second draft meetings. We should have some information on what transpires. And like I say, we're not trying to say we're right. We're just trying to say that there's been problems with the way that some of this stuff's been handled. Code making panel 2, putting in definitions, and basically driving a requirement based on a panel 1 definition. So now if panel 1 changes it could change a lot of things that they don't want to change. So we'll see what happens. Like I say, it's going to be interesting. I really am so happy that my public input got recognized so highly in 625, and I think we're going to have a lot of clarification when this comes down, and I honestly don't think there's going to be any Class A protection required for hardwired EVSE. So
I don't either.
That's what my guess is, but we'll see. So thanks so much, everyone, for joining. Really makes this such a fun show. And like I say, anyone want to study up on the code, we have the playlist on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and like the channel, and check out our playlist on the Journeyman Exam Prep, and also go check out Nat King Code page. I have hundreds of questions in there, basically just like a question bank. You can go in there, try to answer them. All the answers are in the comments, and you can go do the research for yourself and try to time yourself and get the answers in 5 minutes or less. That's my goal when I try to do them. And like I say, it means a lot when I post that question. I usually have at least 2 to 3 people that come, answer it within 5 minutes or less. So that means a lot when I see those come back on the question of the week. It takes James longer than 5 minutes to answer it live on the show. So if that tells you anything, he's just going off top of his head too. So, but you're actually looking it up.
You asked me some, like you asked me too, and I was like, I'm not going to look all that up and calculate that. I said, I'll just take a guess here, and I got it right. I was just doing it in my mind. I was like, I'm not looking that up. Or it was in a table, and I had to go look at the table to get the conductor size. I was like, God dang.
Yeah, I try to get as much as I can to get you, but like I say, it's always fun doing these for me. I really have a good time, and like I say, I'm going to get better at trying to fool King James, because you're coming back off that winning streak. I guarantee next week I'm gonna get better at that. So
man,
I already know you're going to be running around the freaking DFW at the freaking golf cart doing cookies and stuff, but it's all good.
I might even jump off a ramp now.
There you go. See, I knew it. Got your little freaking king crown on the freaking top.
Get it, my hands up in there.
But yeah, it's always fun doing these. So really appreciate it. I know King James got to go get his pop something to eat. Yeah. So
he starts getting hungry about 9 o'clock. Usually we go eat about 6, 7, but on podcast night he's like, he always comes out, hurry up, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel you. Well, as always, remember, make every day an easy day. Y'all have a great week.
Everybody have a great week. We'll see some of y'all Monday. All right, we out of here.
Peace.
All right, let's see here. Let me go here in the stream.